Good evening. Hello, my name is Laura. I am Healthy Carnivore. I am a registered nurse. I have been in nursing since 23 years now. I started keto in 1991 at 313 pounds. It was clean keto. I did not do treats back at that time. I lost 153 pounds in 9 months. After 26 years out of the 28 that I did keto, I started into keto treats and ruined my gut and caused a whole host of issues that then in 2019 came across Joe Rogan and Dr. Baker talking about carnivore, switched immediately the next day. The next morning, that's what I did. And I'm an all or none personality. So I jumped all the way in there and yeah, had all the fun that comes with that, transitioning so fast. Um, so that's a little bit about myself. I will say I'm gonna go over just a little bit. Sunday, I had a vendor event here locally where I live, and it went phenomenal. Had I don't even know how many people. I think there was at least 200 people. It was pretty big for this little area. We're just a bunch of hillbilly farmers out here. Um, and it went wonderful. I had lots of patients I had had before. I had lots of family members of patients that I've had before. Lots of people that buy my products all the time anyway, but they came there and bought them directly from me right on site. So that was kind of cool too. It was really good to see it, and I loved it. And this year, now last year it was mostly women. There was the occasional husband that was being dragged through there. This year, there was actually quite a few men that came through. I sold a lot of my um, shaving cream that's cedarwood scented, cedarwood lotion that I have, which is more of kind of like a masculine smell to it. It's really nice, really, really nice. Um, I had beard butter, but somebody named Carnivore Santa bought all of it, and I haven't made any new yet. So, but I will get to that. Um, so yeah, anyway, I'm happy to be here tonight and let's check in. So Brenda Foley, good evening. Hey Wendy, how are you? Of course, how's your husband doing? Um, Grace says, hi Laura, thanks for your weekly show. Well, you are welcome. I like to educate. I like to educate. Um, and with that being said, I've had some people reach out that want me to do some videos, and I'm like, I have never heard of that. I've never came across that in my life. Give me a little time. I got to do some research on it. Um, so I'm always learning as well, which I think is how it should be. So yeah. Low carb Becky says, hi Laura, great to see you. Good to see you as well. So tonight's talk is going to be over something. I don't think there's a ton of people that fit this, but I have been seeing increasing numbers of this with clients that I work with on my website, which you can see the name of my website there, russellbrands.com with a Z. Um, and I have had a couple that when we did their lab work and got their labs back, and I was going over that with them, "Ooh." I'm like, oh, well, that explains it. Okay, that makes sense. I'm like, you're a lean mass hyper responder. And I'm like, lucky you. That's called superhuman. So, and there might be some of you out here that will listen to these numbers and you'll be like, yeah, that's me. And that's wonderful. I wish that on everybody. I'm just a little jealous, just a little. So, lean mass hyper responders are people usually lean. Now, I will tell you some of the people that fit the lean mass hyper responder may not be to the point where they're called super lean yet, but they're like down 250 pounds. Um, and they're within like 5 pounds of what they set for their goal. May not be what their genetics has set for their goal, but what they have set. So usually very thin, somewhat athletic, or metabolically healthy. Hey, that's a score right there. Metabolically healthy. That is what we all strive to be, is metabolically healthy. I don't care about being a size 12 or a size 10 or whatever. Metabolically healthy is much more important. I could care less if somebody's like, oh, she looks good in that pair of jeans. My thought process is, ooh, I like not having to buy 5 bottles of medicine every month. That's more important to me. So Metabolically healthy people who experience a sharp increase in their LDL. And that's the number one thing that I have seen is this LDL just go crazy high. I won't say the person's name, but there is a person that follows Tuesday night videos that I do every other week with Russ on Homesick Buckeye. And he fits this. I'm quite sure he's going to be in that. I'm going to ask him for more of his numbers to figure that out, but I'm pretty sure he's in that category. So after adopting a low carb life, that's when they see that LDL really climb. Ketogenic or carnivore. I see it mostly with carnivore, but I have seen it with some ketogenic people as well. It's a pattern that typically looks like this. So this would be some, like when you have your total cholesterol done, this is something you would look for. So you would want to look for your high LDL-C, which is often over 200, high HDL-C over 80. Mine's not quite there. I'm like, dang it, I want to get in that group. I don't think I'm going to, but I'm close to that. But yeah, triglycerides under 70. I usually fall within that one. I'm 33 to 68 usually, depending on the day. It changes for me, changes for all of us. It's just that we get that test and we just assume that that's set in stone, but it can change due to healing, sicknesses, illnesses, people you're around that have sicknesses, your immune responses to those people or to things that are going on, histamine responses, allergies, like to the stuff that's going on. Like in my area, all the corn is coming down. So we've got corn dust, regular dust, gravel dirt, crap. So how you test for it, you'll need a standard lipid panel after being fat adapted for several weeks, ideally 4 to 6 weeks on keto or carnivore is when you would kind of want to do these. I really tell people 6 months. I really think 6 months, you're going to get more bang for your buck. You're going to have a better idea of all of your labs. Now, if you want to do this one separate and then do a lot of your other ones that we want to look at certain markers for, at 6 months, that's fine, but I'm frugal and I don't want to spend that money. So I would just wait the 6 months and do it. But you guys can do it however you want. If your numbers match the pattern above, then you are most likely a lean mass hyperresponder. Body fat percent criteria. There is no official cutoff, but many lean mass hyperresponders tend to be under 20% body fat for women and 15% for men. It's more about being insulin sensitive, lean, and low carb than just the body fat alone. So that's one of those other tests that at 6 months, I think that fasting insulin is extremely important. If you want to have a beginning marker, I think that's a great thing to have. I think on all of these, I think a good cardiac calcium score is a great one, kidney numbers, liver numbers, cholesterol, your female hormones or your male hormones, your thyroid panels, full panels, not half-assed TSH, all of it. Okay. Free T3, T4. Okay. So is there danger? So this is debated, very debated. All the stuff I looked at, it was like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Traditional cardiology says that high LDL equals risk, but lean mass hyperresponders in lean mass hyperresponders in the high LDL, the happening in the what's happening is the context of low inflammation, though, low insulin, high LDL, and low trigs. So it's not the usual metabolic picture. So with that being said, it's like you go to your doctor, you're lean, you're somewhat athletic, your LDL has climbed significantly. Okay. Your HDL-C is also 80 or better. And your triglycerides are 70 or under. That is really kind of going to show you that insulin sensitivity, which we want to be, and metabolically healthy. That's really, 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 really going to help. Okay. So that's kind of what you want to shoot for. If someone is lean mass hyperresponder, it is smart to consider advanced lipid testing. So it's going to be ApoB and then LP little a, and the calcium scoring. So the cardiac calcium score, the CAC scoring. Okay. Another one that I would get if you're just out there getting tests done is I really, really recommend a CT angiogram because that shows you more of the soft plaque before it turns into that hard plaque. Um, Mine is 0, so is my cardiac calcium score now. I didn't have the CT angiogram the first time I had my cardiac calcium score done several years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago. But my CAC score was 368 or 378. I cannot remember which it was. But now it's 0. And then I don't know what my soft plaque would have been. I had been keto for 26 and a half, 27 years at that point. So I'm hoping it wasn't there to begin with. Either way, it's not there now. So some research, like from Dave Feldman and others, suggests the risk profile may be different with lean mass hyperresponders. But of course, nobody's going to test for this. Nobody's going to do studies on this because there's no money in this because you're doing it through your nutrition. It's an unfortunate, sad world, but that is the truth. And maybe someday that'll change. We'll see. I don't hold my breath on that. So, another thing is in tracking your inflammatory markers, fasting insulin and your HS, that's all little letters, HS, and then CRP is going to be large letters. I also like ESR. That's a SED rate. I really kind of like that number too. So I recommend that. If you go out to own your own labs, I think it's like a $7 test to add on. It's not bad. You want to work with a knowledgeable provider. Good luck. Good luck. Who understands low carb physiology. Yeah, basic lipid panel. Most important for spotting lean mass hyperresponder. Like I said, LDLC 200 or above, HDLC 80 or above, and then your triglycerides 70 or below with those. So things that you can do, recommended testing that you could kind of add on. Like I said, that advanced lipid testing is going to be that APO big B, APO B. It's a better marker than the LDLC for particle count. Ideal is less than 90, but less than 80 is like very, very, very good. That's really like, I would shoot for the less than 80 personally. The LDLP, which is the particle number, if available. Most places you can get that. Lipoprotein, which is genetically influenced, high levels increase risk regardless of diet. So that is definitely one you want to look at because there are some people that have some genetic issues that it does, the higher lipoprotein can equal risk. Not very many. I haven't seen hardly any, but there is some out there in the literature. You can find that. So small, dense LDL, smaller particles are more dangerous in lean mass hyperresponders. But these with them are usually extremely low when they get that particle size lab work. Okay. Let me just look at something. I got a couple comments here. I just don't want to miss anybody. Hey, Thomas. Hey, Bill. How are you? Janice is here. Yay. I like that first statement, Wendy. Clarence is doing great. Gave him 3 months to live. He's been home just about 2 months now. He's gaining weight and he eats a lot. So praying for more recovery in the coming months. Awesome. That's how it's supposed to be. Oh, and I'm not really hateful, but the snarky side of me is like in 4 months, I would walk him right back into that doctor's office that told you to take him home and just love him till he dies. And I'd be like, see what nutrition can do for somebody? Crazy. Let's see. Carnivore coach, Eden's. Yep. Lean mass hyper responder. Oh, lucky. So inflammation and insulin resistance, some of those tests. So like I said, HS, CRP, is a marker of inflammation. You really want that to be below 1.0. Fasting insulin, another one. We really want to shoot for below 5, single digits on the rest of us humans that are not lean mass hyper responders is okay. I still always try to shoot for 5 or less. HOMO IR, which is calculated from fasting glucose and insulin. Ideally, this you also want it to be less than 1.0. Um, and then, of course, like we talked about before, the imaging that you can get done, which is the CAC, the coronary artery calcium scoring, which measures hard plaque buildup. Plaque. Let's define plaque. Okay. So the plaque on your teeth is the same plaque that gets inside your arteries. Yes, you have a little swath of cholesterol in there, and you may have more than a little swath if you keep injuring an area because it brings the immune cells to that area to heal it. It's kind of like the little, like, here we come to save the day. So if you keep injuring something, yes, you'll have that. But the majority of that hard blockage, when we have sent it off to pathology, is all the stuff from the bone matrix. Okay. And as I have said before, that's because those muscle sites, they're called myocytes. As they keep getting damaged, they convert into osteocytes, which are bone sites. And then they draw in all the stuff that should be going to your teeth and your bones and not to kidney stones or gallstones. Okay. Another thing is, oh, yeah. So for the measuring of the cardiac score, no matter what number you get, there you can always make improvement, which they have said for years was absolutely impossible. I was one of those fortunate people to be able to prove to my doctor that is not true. It absolutely is reversible. Now, I did it through changing my diet to carnivore. I've had people that I've worked with that do they do the chelated therapy, okay, to help get that down. Several visits of that. That's an IV therapy that you do, chelated items to help do that. I've had them work on that. So it is absolutely possible. Um, Lab checklist for lean, for trying to spot lean mass hyperresponder and checking your overall cardiovascular and metabolic health. I would go to, like, if you do core labs, um, you definitely want the lipid panel, which is your total cholesterol. You want your LDL-C, HDL-C, and your triglycerides. You want fasting glucose, fasting insulin, hemoglobin A1C. Now, I will promise you, if you go out and buy these labs yourself and take them to a lab that does take those orders, not all do, check with your labs before you go buy them to make sure that they will accept those orders. I've had to explain more times than I have fingers and toes to somebody in that field, not just the lab techs. I don't mean that, but like the doctors and the people that should really kind of know this, that there is a difference between fasting insulin and fasting glucose. Now, I don't think that should have to be explained if you graduated from any type of schooling to go into healthcare. I feel like that really should be kind of, they're not the same people. So hopefully you don't have to explain. Advanced lipid and inflammation markers would be your APO big B, your LP little a, your LDLP, which is your particles, and small dense LDL optional. So that's up to you if you want to spend the money to do that one. You don't have to. And then the HSCRP, and then the homocysteine optional. But that really kind of gives you a better picture of vascular risk, because that's really kind of important to look at. All right, let me look at this really quick. Looks fine to me. I can't see the screen at all. It's white. Yep. So Target Prime says, I can't see you. The screen is all white. I can see me. If anybody can't see me other than Thomas, you just don't want to see me. I know how that is. I got you. That's okay. I completely understand. Let's see. Bill says catching up. Got it from the start at 175 speed. Ooh, what do I sound like at that speed? Do I sound like a chipmunk? I've never listened to it sped up. Uh, okay. Target says, okay, it's probably him. It's his system's not picking me up. Your system's like, if you have to go to work tonight, you do not need to be nauseous. So T. Lewis, hello. Yes, T. Lorraine said, good evening. Just got off my bus. Awesome. So Target says, yep, that is it. Perfect. Good, good, good. So optional imaging, like we have said, and everything I went into also talked about this test that I talked about earlier is, the CAC score is great. That shows you the hard plaque, but then you also want a CT scan, a CT angiogram, which will look more for like the soft plaque before it has a chance to get there. I won't say you know, I would say in the very beginning when I started keto in 1991, I had a suspicion that I probably had a lot of this softer plaque running through my arteries because my triglycerides were at least 1,000. So I actually took egg yolk lecithin, which is a fat emulsifier. So I don't know because I don't have a test number showing me what I was. I don't know if that helped, but I know I have used that with other patients, other clients, not my home health patients, but clients. And I don't, and it has worked. It has helped remove that soft plaque. So egg yolk lecithin, not a doctor. I'm a nurse. Hallelujah. Thank God. No, thank you. I would not want to be a doctor in today's world. Um, Hard enough being a nurse in this world. So, yeah, I really would. It's not going to hurt you. It's literally not going to hurt you at all to take. So, optional calculations, like we said, is your HOMO IR, fasting glucose times your fasting insulin. So, ideal is less than 1. So, I have never done that test for myself. So, I really should be doing that. Here I am preaching the labs you should get, but my labs have been so good for so long. I do think I need to get another cardiac calcium score, just because it's been like 3.5 years now, maybe 4. I don't know. The time passes so fast. Um, but I'd love to see what it is. I'm sure it's still 0, but it'd be nice to have that. I did have somebody reach out that was saying that their doctor had kind of first started with, oh, you're going to have statins. Here's your da 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 da, and told him the risk. But then as he was working on the computer and typing in all these other things that she had going for her, turned around and said, you know what? You don't need that statin. You're going to have the side effects are going to outweigh the benefits. And I'm like, hallelujah. That is like, I would bring him coffee every day for like a week for him using his brain instead of going with the standard. You got to take this, you got to take this, you got to take this. So yeah, I am not sure. So let's see. Okay, so Target. So Thomas. I see you now. I had to open you in a new tab. That's weird. You are good. I can see you. Thank you, low carb. Broken carnivore. Hi, Laura. Hello. I just was watching your video earlier that went out, I think this morning or last night. Good video. Lorraine, where can you do hormonal panels? So, Lorraine, you'll have to check with the labs in your area to see if they are like a lab core affiliated lab and ask them if they will take orders from own your own labs. Most of these places are going to already heard about it because a lot of people, not just keto carnivore, a lot of people use those types of labs. Before I would do that first, see what you got, and then, oh, I'm trying to think. That's right, you're in Canada. There is I don't have the site wrote down, but I know somebody told me that they also have a site over in Canada that they use for their labs there. The other thing you could do, if you have a doctor that has more than two brain cells, is you could tell them that you want a full hormone panel, including all the thyroid and all of your sex hormones. You want all of that and ask for fasting insulin. I would ask for fasting insulin and not fasting glucose because they get confused when you say those two together. I'm not sure why. I don't know. Let's see. Um, I don't know what 712 and 650 means, Bill. I'm not sure. Oh, 5 more minutes and I'll be caught up. Oh, I got you. You didn't tell me though, do I sound like a chipmunk when I'm sped up? So once you get to this point, you'll catch up. You can let us know if I sound crazy on there. It's possible. Target says nothing like looking insane on YouTube. I do it all the time. Hi, Bill, Lorraine, Thomas, BC, Becky, T. Lewis. Love your cooking videos. Oh, yes, absolutely. I do too. And Juliet, hello, how are you? Not a chipmunk from 4 minutes. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. That's a positive thing. So, I'm going to go over what we're going to discuss next Monday. I have a little bit more that I want to do on this one, just because I came up on a couple studies that talked about the liquid form versus the powdered form. So I really want to kind of dive into that and dig up everything that I can find on that. So, but what it is on is methylene blue. So I really want to look into, like I said, the options of the dried, like the powdered versus the liquid, um, and the things that go with that, and the caution with that as well. So that is kind of what I want to go over next Monday. Huh, they said they have sublingual lozenges too, so that'll be interesting. We will see. So, all right, Wendy has a question. Clarence has been burping a lot after meals. How do I fix it? Um, there's a couple things you can do. It may be because he doesn't have enough stomach acid. So you could always put a little, if you have apple cider vinegar with the mother, you can put just like a capful in like 4 ounces of water and have him chug that down and then rinse his mouth out just with water before he eats to kind of help acidify the stomach a little bit better and see if that does not help with that. That should. So Janice says, what type of lesson did you say you used? I'm not sure what you're asking me. I'm so sorry, Janice. If you can come on here and let me know um, what type of lesson did you say you used? I'm not sure what you mean by that. So if you've got, I'm going to be on here just a couple minutes before I get off. Um, I normally don't watch a whole lot of stuff online other than like I stay on YouTube, carnivore stuff, looking up that kind of stuff, researching stuff, different things like that. But as you all know, since last Wednesday, as I think many people have been paying a little bit more attention to what's going on around. And so I will be doing some of that tonight. Now I have to be very careful. I can't do it close to bed because I have lost sleep several nights from what I saw. Um, so hopefully we don't have to ever see anything like that again. Oh, lecithin. So I thought I said lesson. I'm sorry. The type of lecithin is egg yolk lecithin, and that's how it is spelled, Lecithin. And you can get it off of Amazon. I'm sure there's other places you can get it. back in the day, I had to go to a health food store and I bought it from them. And it's capsules. You want the capsule. Never do a tablet of anything if you can possibly help it. It's been crushed, cooked. It's no good. You're welcome, Wendy. Get Fit says, how does someone lower their ApoB and their LPA if it's over 100? You know, I'm not 100% sure on that. Um, because I think if you're a true lean mass hyper responder, it will be there. It'll naturally happen, and it happens pretty quickly. It's not like these people are carnivore or keto for like 10 years and all of a sudden they meet that criteria. It's usually generally very, very quick, 4 to 6 weeks, and they literally fit that criteria. Otherwise, I would be doing whatever I could to get there because they're superhuman. They really are. They have some excellent benefits of that. Um, and I'm not there. So, and I've been doing this 6.5 years. So I don't know that there is a way to do it through like supplementation, exercising, different things like that, or what you eat. I really think you're either a lean mass hyper responder or you are not, unfortunately. But I will check on that. But I don't think there is. Near bedtime can wreck you. Ask me how I know. Yeah. And I don't normally watch stuff like up until like about 8 o'clock and I stop. But it's so heart wrenching. All the tributes and even the nasty people who really are demons. I'm very thankful that some of these people have made themselves known because my friends list got smaller. I mean, we're talking like 50 people smaller because I'm like, if you'll say something like that over any human life negatively like that, I don't care who they are, you're a demon and I don't need you in my life. And so, bye bye, they're gone. I don't wish ill on any person that has opposing views to me ever. Never have, and I don't ever intend to. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. So Bill says, LOL, 2 brain cells. That's what I had before carnivore. Now I got 12. Hey, I'm at 13. 13 is my lucky number. So yeah, there you go. Oh, now you're at 13. Well, there you go. See, we're good. We're good. So Target says, so is it your turn with Russ tomorrow? Nope, it's not. It's Rick tomorrow. I was last week. It was so good. It lasted forever. Brett from Hoosier Carnivore came on. We hadn't seen him in forever, and it was amazing. He's doing great, and he's doing his thing. So it was great. Yep. Janice says the product you use for detox. Um, to break down the liquidy fat, the softer plaque, I did the egg yolk lecithin. That's lecithin. And I still have some somewhere, but I don't know exactly where. I don't remember the dosage. It's not going to hurt you anyway. What you don't use, you are going to get rid of. So it'll be fine. Um, and then if you're talking like heavy metal detoxes, there's lots of different types of stuff out there for that. I haven't had to do anything like that because I haven't put anything in my body, um, as in to have a heavy metal detox. So, and I do all my own shampoos and conditioners and deodorant. So no. La, la, la. You're welcome, Janice. Heck yeah, Target. You send me, you put in some dates that you're available, and I will be on there. It'll get crazy though. You know that. Uh, Less than 1 minute and Bill will be caught up. That's pretty good. So Erica said, my friends list got smaller too, and I'm really content with that. Yeah, I am too. A couple of them I kind of knew they were fringy, and that's okay. Like I've always been open to dialogue. I had debate class in high school. Debate was something good. That's how I was raised. It was like, and I still do that to this day. I'll go into a patient's home that may be a religion that either I don't know about, haven't ever heard of, or it's one I'm like, I don't really know much about it. And I'm like, well, what do you guys believe happens when this happens? Well, what do you believe? I want to know. Um, Doesn't mean I'm gonna run to that church, but what's it hurt to know what your other human beings think? I think the problem is we've dehumanized everybody because we're being called things that dehumanize us. And it's too bad. It's unfortunate. I feel sorry for the youth that fall for some of that stuff. I think a lot of the older, well, I don't even know that. That's not true because I actually had to get rid of a couple that are in their 60s. So that's not true. I was gonna say, I think most people who have lived long enough know that it's okay to be opposing sides and you don't have to hate each other, but not everybody does on both sides. I've seen it from both sides. So, let's see. Emily, yep, yep, yep. So Jiffy says, "Hello, Laura. I'm running behind tonight. I'm part of the I Am Charlie Kirk movement. Good for you." Yeah, I have a freedom shirt that's coming in. And I just found out that my son's birthday, I know my son's birthday is October 14th. I'm not going to say what year, but anyway, his birthday is October 14th, and Charlie Kirk's was also October 14th, 1993. Yeah. So I texted my son, who had sent me the most eloquent message I have ever had from him. Yeah, he's not quite 30. And but he was one of these kids that was a little delayed, ADHD, oppositional defiance disorder, all of these things. Um, but always was a big thinker. Like some of the books he read very young on, I mean, little kid, was like books on um, trying to think. He did like JFK books, RFK, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, Gandhi's, um, I mean, everything. He just all the way back, President Lincoln, I'm trying to think, John Lennon, he always kind of picked to that. And it was just the most eloquent thing that he said to me. I looked at that and I thought, is this my son? This is crazy. This sounds like a 50-year-old who's been around and seen a lot of the craziness and all these peacemakers who were taken out that are talking about Christ. And I was like, wow. I even showed my husband. I'm like, look. And he goes, who's that from? I go, my son. He goes, what? I go, yeah. I was like, look at him. He's all grown up. So it was really wonderful. Bill says he's all caught up. Okay. Target Prime Rib. If you don't have my email, it's just Laura, all lowercase, Laura, 4771 at gmail.com. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? On a lighter side note, ain't nothing about me lean, hello, but I am healthy. And that's perfectly okay. Yeah, I'm not going to ever probably be considered what they say lean. My muscle mass is excellent. My bone density is off the charts. So bone and muscle weighs more. So, they do my BMI and they're like, oh, you're in the obese category. And I'm like, I can, oh, okay. And, they're sitting there with a donut in their hand. And I'm like, sure thing. Okay, that's fine. So, yeah, I'm never going to be one either. That's okay, though. Um, I don't know what that is, Bill. Laura needs a hashtag. I just was like, what's a hash J? A hashtag. Yes, I do. Hashtag Russell Brands. There you go. Yeah. Let's see. Bill says 2 strikes. All right. Let's see. Bone and muscle for the win. Absolutely, Jiffy. Every time. The thing is, and this is weird. This took several years into carnivore, but on my hips, I always had the cellulite. Never really cared about it. Like, I don't care. The the fat and stuff is on the outside of my body. It's not into like around my organs. I don't care. But the longer I have done carnivore, it's gone. I don't even know when it happened. It was literally like I went to put on my running pants, and I was like, oh, these are looser. Like they're not even holding everything that you want to be held in when you run. And so I got a different pair on and I was like, and if you have hips, which I know you guys don't, but if you're a girl and you got hips, you go to pull those tight, tight ones up and everything's kind of looks like a biscuit coming out of a can. And I was like, oh, I don't have any cellulite on there. I was like, where'd that go? And I got a mirror and looked behind me and I was like, huh, I don't know where it went, but wherever that it is, may she stay there because I don't want her back. On the YouTube. Hey Dan, or Dawn, how are you? So Jiffy said, my best friend is not carnivore and 5 years older than me. She asked me yesterday how to get more protein. She's losing muscle mass. I directed her towards beef protein. I would say the collagen that is made from bovine, like you said, the beef. I would do Knox gelatin and make those gelatin squares that I talk about a lot. I wouldn't buy the store-bought Jello. I would make it from those orange and white boxes of gelatin. And if she's not carnivore, use a can of pop to 2 cups of boiling water. Do the 2 cups of boiling water first, and then a can of diet soda or whatever she wants to flavor it with. Um, and I would do that. I'm trying to think what else. When she makes soups, have her use bone broth. That's another easy way to get it in there. And eggs. Eggs are the perfect amount of protein, amino acids, and fatty acids. So I would have her do that. And then you'll be her best friend because you're going to help. The other thing is, she needs to not do like 75 reps of something that's easy. She needs to do heavier, less reps, but do them until she cannot lift it anymore. So do it until you fail, basically. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take long. It can be 15 reps 3 times, of different things. I went out on YouTube and I follow Dee Jackson, who is a beast. I'm never going to look like her. I don't want to look like a bodybuilder, but she is amazing. She's on Facebook and she's on YouTube. Great, great motivational person. And she talks about that. So that would be another good person to maybe send her to look at because, yeah, she needs the protein. She needs those building blocks in order to build that up. She may be somebody that has to take some L-leucine um, just to help with that. So would have to be looked at. So, all right, Thomas, I will check that out and then I will get back with you uh as to when I can do that. I do a live with a gal this Friday. So, but otherwise I'm pretty good. I do have some clients to work with, but I'll look through that and then I'll let you guys know. So anyway, thank you guys for being on here. I may just start adding God bless because I feel like we need a little more of that in our lives. So, as I always say, meet, heat, eat, and repeat. And God bless everybody, even the bad people. And I will see you guys next week. See ya.